Newt Gingrich is not just rising in the polls, he's now leading the Republican pack. According to this latest USA Today Gallup poll just out this morning, Gingrich is ahead of Mitt Romney with 22% among registered voters. But with all this new attention, there is the accompanying scrutiny. As we've discovered, it's not just Mitt Romney who has to account for his shifting positions and inconsistencies. NBC News political reporter Domenico Montanaro has that reporting. Dom?
Well, Luke, we found that on at least 5 separate issues, Newt Gingrich has either been inconsistent or completely reversed himself. Conservatives have hammered Mitt Romney for inconsistencies on abortion, gay marriage, and health care. But he's not alone. Newt Gingrich, the latest Republican to surge in the polls, has been on both sides of a long list of issues, sometimes in the same week. And they aren't ones Tea Party conservatives will easily overlook. On climate change, he cut this ad with former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
We don't always see eye to eye, do we, Newt?
No, but we do agree our country must take action to address climate change.
But while running for president, Gingrich did an about-face.
Well, that's probably the dumbest single thing I've done in recent years.
As far back as 1993, the former speaker supported health care mandates.
I am for people, individuals, exactly like automobile insurance, individuals having health insurance and being required to have health insurance.
But this year, he said he rejects them.
I'm against any effort to impose a federal mandate on anyone because it is fundamentally wrong and I believe unconstitutional.
On Libya, Gingrich said he favored a no-fly zone.
Exercise a no-fly zone this evening.
But just 2 weeks later, after President Obama and U.S. allies began strikes on the country, he said he was against the idea.
I would not have intervened.
On Paul Ryan's controversial budget plan, Gingrich said if he could, he'd vote for it. But less than a month later, he said,
I don't think right-wing social engineering is any more desirable than left-wing social engineering.
2 days after that, he backtracked.
I made a mistake.
But this month, he said he was against how Ryan would restructure Medicare. On Freddie Mac, the government-backed mortgage lender, Gingrich said in 2008,
I mean, what you have today is that the rich in Wall Street and the powerful at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac had so many politicians beholden to them that, in fact, nobody was going to check them.
But after he left Congress, Freddie Mac paid Gingrich at least $1.6 million as a consultant.
I was Speaker of the House and a strategic advisor.
Newt Gingrich may be the latest candidate to see his star rise in the polls, Luke, but if primary voters don't buy his explanations, well, that star could burn out pretty quickly.
Do you think someone with such close ties to the lobbying industry, like Gingrich, which we're now seeing, I read that his he got about $30 million from healthcare groups. One of his think tanks did. Can someone like that? Can somebody like that really appeal to the Tea Party and the conservative voters who very much are going to be needed to win these early states?
Well, I think you get at what's probably his biggest weakness, which is his strong ties to Washington generally, right? So he was Speaker of the House. He took money from groups like this. He was not a lobbyist, but as we know, strategic advisor, that line.
A consultant.
Right, that line can be kind of blurred. But why has he risen in the polls? Well, we saw his stridency at debates. He's been able to harness a pretty harsh anti-Obama message and, frankly, an anti-media message that plays really well with Tea Party supporters. And when you see Rick Perry's oops moment, Herman Cain fading, especially on issues of substance like Libya, well, people hear Newt Gingrich, they see he's articulate, he's a pretty smart guy, and they go to him and say, all right, fine, if we have to go somewhere, we don't want to go to Mitt Romney, we'll go with him.
The man with a doctorate in European history is finding the groundswell of conservative support. Unbelievable from the grassroots.
We'll see if it lasts.
Dr. Gingrich, thank you very much, Don. Appreciate it.
Welcome back to the Ed Show. Poor Newt Gingrich. He says he was the victim of gotcha journalism. He says he misspoke when he dissed the Ryan Medicare plan 6 ways from Sunday. The very latest is the Newster saying that he would have voted for the Ryan budget if he were still in Congress.
I would have voted for the budget.
You would have? Would you still?
Sure.
Of course, Gingrich also apologized to Paul Ryan, but the Newster also kissed up to the Tea Party. From Iowa, Gingrich held 2 conference calls with Tea Party leaders scattered throughout the nation. One on short notice Monday night and another on Tuesday morning. It was quick mop-up. And the Newster tried to sell this garbage.
Any ad which quotes what I said on Sunday is a falsehood. And because I have said publicly those words were inaccurate and unfortunate, and I'm prepared to stand up. And when I make a mistake, and I'm going to on occasion, I'm going to stand up and share with the American people that was a mistake.
Oh, it was a bad place to make a mistake, Newtster. You see, the fact is, it was inaccurate. So then why did Newt Gingrich denigrate Ryan's Medicare plan several different times?
Turn it into a voucher program where you give seniors some premium support and so that they can go out and buy private insurance?
I don't think right-wing social engineering is any more desirable than left-wing social engineering. I don't think imposing radical change from the right or the left is a very good way for a free society to operate.
And, of course, Gingrich didn't stop there. A few minutes later, this happened.
But not what Paul Ryan is suggesting, which is completely changing Medicare.
I think that is too big a jump.
Too big a jump? But those weren't the only times the Newtster misspoke. He did it again.
I'm against Obamacare, which is imposing radical change, and I would be against a conservative imposing radical change.
And later the same day, Gingrich spoke with the Wall Street Journal and stood by his remarks. So let's get this thing straight, folks. Gingrich called the Ryan Medicare plan radical and extreme because it is. Then he was scared into supporting it because if he doesn't, he's not going to get Republican support. He did not misspeak. The GOP Medicare bomb got him. You see, if you oppose the Paul Ryan Medicare plan, the GOP turns on you. But if you support it, you sure as hell won't get the general electorate on your side. So, and then he literally tries to run from Republicans. Watch this tape when an Iowa voter questioned him in the hallway.
Mr. Gingrich, what you just did to Paul Ryan is unforgivable.
I didn't do anything to Paul Ryan.
Yes, you did. You undercut him and his allies in the House.
No,
You're an embarrassment to our party.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Why don't you get out before you make a bigger fool of yourself?
Look at Newt. Look at this videotape. Now, if you're in public service and you want to win, you focus on what this gentleman is saying to you. You know, you want to serve the public. You want to turn his opinion around. Now, this guy is a righty. He says that Newt is an embarrassment to the party. See what Newt, I thought Newt was caring about the American people. I thought he really loved debate in the arena of ideas. There's your chance, Newt. You're running like a scared rabbit. Go right back to that guy and say, you know what? I respect your opinion, but I want to set the record straight with you because your vote counts. You see, Newt doesn't care about that. Let's bring in host of Grit TV and Free TV Speech, and that is Laura Flanders. You know what? The thing that gets me about this, Laura, is if Newt Gingrich was going to vote for the Ryan plan, why didn't he just say it on Meet the Press when he had the opportunity on Sunday?
Well, it's a different audience. I mean, he's saying one thing to one audience and another to another. We saw it with Boehner. We saw it with Kyle. We saw it, well, we're seeing it now with Scott Brown. The surprise about Gingrich, though, I mean, let me just remind you, Ed, this is the guy that tried to get his marriage annulled, I think his second marriage, tried to get the illegal GOPAC contributions ignored, and he's now saying that what he said, if you quote him, it's dishonest.
It's a falsehood.
It's right. And he told his second wife, I think it was his second wife, Marianne, that it wasn't what he did, it's what he said. So if it's not what he did and it's not what he said, he's not left with a whole lot.
You know, seriously, we really don't have to go down the personal road. And you can. I'm not trying to tell you what to say. No, but there's so much on the table with this guy.
Well, but let's not forget
the GOPAC. I mean, obviously what he did there. And, of course, he tried to wordsmith everybody into denigrating their opponent and talking about their demise. He introduced modern-day negativity into politics. There's no question about it. And now he's trying to talk back to his own party, and he's having a hard time doing it. Senator Chuck Schumer today said, of course, Democrats are going to use Gingrich's words against other Republicans. Gingrich was saying what everyone knows to be true. The plan is extreme. Yeah. Do you think that Gingrich thinks the plan is extreme, but he's just codifying?
I think it depends entirely who he's talking to. I mean, this is the guy that earlier said Medicare should wither on the vine. I mean, he has had a mountain of opinions about Medicare, and on this occasion, I think he said he thought he said what he thought would please that audience, and then, whoa, when he got the kickback from the Tea Parties, like so many of the Republicans today, they're like, well, I got to straddle this fence somehow.
All of a sudden, you have Newt Gingrich, who has been a conservative icon, the intellectual debater of the Republican movement for the last 25 years, and he is calling Paul Ryan to tell him that he's sorry.
But let's remember that
this had to be a rough day.
Gingrich has also been an embarrassment to the Republicans long before that gentleman in Iowa. He was the guy who they had to get to resign back in the 90s because of the ethics violations. He was an embarrassment then. He's an embarrassment now.
Finally, can he recover and get the nomination, in your opinion?
Well, I don't know. I think this is a week for listening to the women. Marianne Gingrich, his second wife, said this is a guy who will redo his history so many times that there is no chance in hell he can win. We should have listened to the Schwarzenegger tell-all. We should have listened to we did listen, luckily, to the IMF woman. In this case, we should be listening to her. She's got it right. He doesn't stand a chance.
Laura Flanders, great to have you with us tonight. Thank you so much.
What would you do about Libya?
Exercise a no-fly zone this evening. We don't need to have the United Nations. All we have to say is that we think that slaughtering your own citizens is unacceptable and that we're intervening. This is a moment to get rid of him. Do it. Get it over with. I would not have intervened. I think there were a lot of other ways to affect Gaddafi. I think there are a lot of allies in the region that we could have worked with. I would not have used American and European forces.
We Americans are going to have to talk together, work together, find solutions together, and insist on imposing those solutions on those forces that don't want to change.
Right-wing social engineering is any more desirable than left-wing social engineering. I don't think imposing radical change from the right or the left is a very good way for a free society to operate.